Hey guys, Austin here with the day after the Oilers 5-3 victory over the Anaheim Ducks. The day after is a segment where it's just as the title says, I record a video the day after. I discuss a little bit extra about the game, maybe some storylines, maybe I talk about different players. If you guys like these day after segments, always make sure to hit that like button, hit subscribe. It is free. Hit the little bell so that you're always notified of any uploads. And let's just jump into it. So last night, the Oilers come out with a 5-3 victory after being down 3-2 in the third period to the Anaheim Ducks. And it was a game of special teams. Edmonton's penalty kill was strangely not great last night. They gave up 2 goals on 2 power play opportunities, so they were 0 for 2 on the penalty kill, but they did manage to score a power play goal of their own to go up late in the third. It was a Draisaitl one-timer. Nice cross-ice pass from Connor McDavid, who finished with 3 assists. Draisaitl finished with a goal and an assist, and of course, Evander Kane finished with 3 goals. And I just want to say, when Evander Kane was skating towards that empty net, I don't think I've seen that guy skate faster in my entire life. I know he gets a bad reputation for being a slow skater, but that straight line speed, once he gets going, he's actually pretty fast. He's faster than I thought he was. He reminds me of Milan Lucic in that way, where Lucic, the agility and the ability to turn quickly on your edges, very slow. But if Luch was just skating straight, in a straight line, he was actually pretty fast too. So that's just kind of what that reminded me of. But I did want to get into some of the advanced stats from last night because Kris Knoblauch, as we know, he changed the lineups a little bit. He had Corey Perry on the second line with Draisaitl and Evander Kane. He had a third line of Holloway, McLeod, and Foegele. And then the D pairs were changed, but then in the second period, he went back to Ekholm Bouchard, but he did stick with Desharnais and Nurse as one pair, and then Kulak and Ceci as the other pair. Now, when I was watching the game last night, my eye test was telling me Kulak and Ceci played pretty good. Ekholm and Bouchard, not so great. I thought Bouchard has actually struggled a little bit the last couple of games. And Nurse Desharnais were like so-so. Desharnais and Nurse, they blew their assignment on the second goal for Anaheim, where they got in behind the defense, and there's not much Pickard could have done. But I am going to bring us to a more advanced stat. I don't know what you want to call this. Graphic. So I have the game stats on screen here. The shots 32-27. Edmonton face-off percentage in the Oilers' favor. Power play percentage. Edmonton finished 1 for 2. Anaheim finished 2 for 2. Again, very surprising that the Oilers' penalty kill struggled a little bit. Credit to Anaheim, though. Hits were 26-18 for the Ducks, so not a game full of physicality. Block shots 13-12 for Anaheim. Giveaways were 11-6 for Edmonton, and that seemed to track. And then takeaways 6-5 in favor of the Oilers. Now, when we look at the deeper analytics of the game last night, I separated each line in descending order from expected goals for at even strength. So our best line of the night in terms of possession and expected goals for was the Kane, Draisaitl, Perry line. They had a 73 expected goals for percentage. I thought they played very well. My concern heading into the game was who's going to get the puck because they're all slow skaters. They proved me wrong. You don't have to be fast in this league. You just have to be smart, and all 3 players played very smart last night, so I was very happy with that line. Now, the second best line in terms of expected goals for was Janmark, Ryan, and Brown. They had a 67 expected goals for percentage, and the eye test, I think, backs that up too. I thought the fourth line played a pretty solid game. Again, they don't get a whole ton of ice time. They get 10, 11 minutes max. Connor Brown, he was sniffing around the net again. Third period, he got a couple shots on net. Really hoping one of these pucks just squeezes through for him at some point. My goodness, this is sad. This is really sad at this point. I just want Connor Brown to score so bad. I'm rooting for him every night. Our third best line in terms of the expected goals for was Hyman, McDavid, and Nugent Hopkins. They finished with a 65 expected goals for percentage. And again, that tracks. That line was looking really good. McDavid was all over it. And then, of course, in the third period, he was rewarded with some points for how well he had been playing earlier in the game. And not only that, the amount of abuse he was taking throughout the game, the amount of interference, hooks, holds that he was taking throughout that game. The Oilers started to give that back to Anaheim. You had that Draisaitl play where I forget who he knocked over. I think it was Lyubushkin, nowhere near the puck. Nice little cross check into the ribs. That went uncalled, but it kind of makes up for the fact that McDavid had to put up with a whole bunch of crap too. So when the fans started chanting, refs, you suck, It's hard to disagree with them as an Oilers fan. The refs suck, but it's not just Oilers. It's not just the Ducks. It's league-wide, but this is not the point of this video. I just want to talk about that. Our worst line in terms of expected goals for was Holloway, McLeod, Foegele, and the eye test also backed that up in my opinion. I thought Foegele, the last 2 games coming out of the All-Star break, I think Foegele has struggled a lot. I haven't really been a big fan of his game, so hopefully he can pick that up again, because Foegele was running pretty red hot before the All-Star break. And then Holloway and McLeod. Holloway had the one good one-timer opportunity in the slot. I think that was back in the first or second period. I thought Holloway looked good on the forecheck. I thought McLeod looked good on the back check. But the line in terms of generating offense, they weren't really generating a lot. Not as much as you would expect from a line that is that fast, and they can get into the corners and get on you quickly on the forecheck. So if the lines stay together like this against the LA Kings, I hope that Holloway, McLeod, Foegele line picks it up just a little bit. Again, this is a 1-game sample size, too hard to judge too negatively. But the really interesting thing here is when we look at the defense pairing. So we have Kulak, Ceci. They had a 99.95 expected goals for percentage, which is outrageous. Clearly, Kulak and Ceci, in the very limited time that they've played together, which was just last night, that seemed to work. Knobloch made an adjustment, put Kulak with Ceci, and they did not look back. When those two were on the ice, Edmonton was generating offense. They were generating puck possession, and Anaheim was unable to do anything. So I'm very curious to see if they stick with that pair moving forward. Nurse Desharnais had a 59 expected goals for percentage, and other than the defensive gaffe that led to Anaheim's second goal, I actually thought they looked okay. Desharnais, you can tell when he's going up against better competition, that's where the speed factor comes in. But Desharnais is so good with his stick, his long reach, his physicality. I think he can make an adjustment. I don't mind seeing Nurse and Desharnais a little bit more. I'd like to see 5, maybe 10 game sample size with those two, just to give an idea of where we might need to upgrade by the trade deadline when it comes to the defensemen. And then, of course, Ekholm Bouchard, they ended up finishing with a 28 expected goals for percentage, and the eye test also backs that up. I thought Bouchard was struggling a little bit. I didn't think Ekholm looked particularly amazing. It seemed like whenever those two were on the ice, they were kind of getting hemmed in the zone a little bit. And I want to give the Anaheim Ducks credit too. They played a good game. Edmonton turned it up late in the second and then in the third period, but the Ducks played a strong game. Their record is 18-31-2, but the way they played last night is not reflective of that record. So just want to give credit to the Ducks. They played a hard game against Edmonton. I'm happy Edmonton came out with the win. I think it was a well-deserved win for the Oilers. But that's kind of my day after breakdown of the game. What did you guys think about the game in general? Do you like these day after segments? Let me know all of your thoughts and comments in the comments section below. And as always, I keep plugging it. If you guys like the video, make sure you hit like. If you really liked it, make sure you hit subscribe. And of course, I will see you guys tonight in the post-game debrief after the Kings and Oilers game has wrapped up. You guys have a wonderful Saturday. Have a wonderful weekend. And I'll see you in the next one, guys. Take care.